the 11 methods, we're going to look at exercise 14H7ABD. Okay, so whenever you're solving for 2 theta, all you need to do is whatever the number is inside in front of the x, you just times by the domain. So if theta was between 0 to 2 pi, then 2 theta would be between 0 to 4 pi. We just double the domain. Okay. So just keep that in mind when we're solving for 2 theta. All right, so we'll do A first. So if sine of 2 theta equals a half, negative half, you first need to find the base angle. Okay, the base angle is sine of what? So sine of what gives me a half as an answer. So if we look at our table values, sine of pi on 6 gives me a half. Okay, so that's my basic angle. Now we notice that the value is negative, so we need to find which quadrant sine is negative. All students take chocolate, so sine is negative in the third and fourth quadrants. Okay, and in the third quadrant, we know the solution is pi plus theta, pi 2 pi minus theta, because this is the fourth quadrant. So you go 2 theta equals to, because we're solving for 2 theta, the angle equals to pi plus theta. So pi plus pi over 6 is 7 pi over 6. 2 pi minus pi on 6 is 11 pi on 6. Now, remember back at the top where we doubled the domain, we did solve for not between 0 to 2 theta at the moment. We're solving for 0 to 4 theta because we're solving for 2 pi, not 2 pi, 2 theta. Okay, we're not solving for theta at the moment. So we have to go one more time around the circle. So add 2 pi to this to get the next solution. So 12 plus 7 is 19 pi over 6. And I add 2 pi to this. 12 plus 11 is 23 pi over 6. Okay, so I've got my 4 solutions. And it's within the domain of 0 to 4 pi, okay? Because 6 goes in 23 3 times and a bit, okay? We haven't quite reached the fourth pi yet. So next step is you just solve for theta. So how do I solve for theta? I just divide both sides by 2. So this will be 7 pi on 12, 11 pi on 12, 19 pi on 12, 23 pi on 12. Okay. Now, for B, you go through the same process. Cos 2 theta equals root 3 on 2. My basic angle, or my base angle, is cos of what gives me root 3 on 2? That must be pi on 6. Okay. Now, when is cos positive? Because that value is positive. So all students take chocolate. Cos is positive here and there. Okay. So this will be theta. This will be 2 pi minus theta. So that's where we'll get our solutions. And we're solving for the angle. The angle happens to be 2 theta in this case. Now again, 2 theta would be between 0 to 4 pi. Okay, so you remember got to double. You got to remember to double your domain. So 2 theta. My first solution's in the first quadrant, so it's just pi over 6. And my fourth quadrant solution will be 11 pi over 6. Now I got to add 2 pi's of my first solution to get my third solution. That will be 13 pi over 6. And this will be 13 plus 11. No, 12 plus 11 is 23 pi over 6. Okay. And again, this is within all these solutions of my domain for 2 pi, 2 theta. So we're just solving for theta now. Divide both sides by 2. So pi on 12, 11 pi on 12, 13 pi on 12, and 23 pi on 12. Okay. Now, finally, for C, you go for the same process. Sine of 2 theta equals positive half. Okay. So my basic angle is, well, sine of pi over 6 gives me a half. Where is sine positive in the first and second quadrant? So that's theta. That's pi minus theta. Okay. So again, 2 theta equals 2. We want a solution between 0 to 4 pi. I'll write that because we don't have space. So our first quadrant solution is pi over 6. Second quadrant is 5 pi over 6. I'll add 2 pi to my first solution, which is 11, 13 pi over 6. And we'll add 2 pi to our second solution, which gives me 12 plus 15 is 17 pi over 6. Okay, we're not done yet. We want to solve for theta, so just go 11 pi over 12, 5 pi over 12, 13 pi over 12, and 17 pi over 12. Okay, and for D, it's exactly the same process, except for D, you triple the angle. Okay, so your domain would be, so 3 theta would be an element of 0 to 3 pi. Okay, so you can't go beyond 3 pi. Your basic angle would be pi and 4. Okay, and then you solve it. Okay, so where is sine negative? The third and fourth quadrants. So this will be pi plus theta. This will be 2 pi minus theta. So your solutions would be 3 theta equals to your first solution would be pi plus pi over 4, which is 5 pi over 4. Your next solution will be 7 pi over 4. Okay, keep going. 5 plus 8, 13 pi over 4. I'm just adding 2 pi, so just in case you're wondering where the 8 came from. 8 divided by 4 is the same as 2. 7 plus 8 is 15 pi over 4. Now, as you can see, 15 divided by 4 is, well, 4 goes to 15 3 times and a bit. So that solution's above our domain of 0 to 3 pi, so we reject it, and then we just divide the solutions that are acceptable by 3. So that's 5 pi and 12, 7 pi and 12, and was it 15 or 13? I don't remember. That should be, I think it's 13. Yeah, 13 pi and 12. And you're done, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so that's how you approach that question. So hopefully that helps.